It's the Jef Clo Podcast Show. We are not condescending, but you're just so far below us. It's the Jef Clo Podcast Show. Oh, it's Jef and Clo and Jef and Clo and Jef and Clo and Jef and Clo. And just in case you didn't remember, it's Jef and Clo. Jef and Clo.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Jef Clo Podcast. That's correct. Another episode. That's what I said, Dave.
Episode. Yeah, I know. I was adding some intensity to that.
All right,
well,
I wasn't
in a very laid-back way.
I wasn't sure if that was meant to be like a natural echo.
Kind of like, yeah.
Okay.
Fun.
So, did you do anything exciting this week?
Golly, Jeff. What do I do that's not exciting, really? It's always exciting.
Hold on, pause for a second.
Can't think of anything.
I don't know what you're doing, but I can barely hear you at times. Like your microphone sounds noisy.
That's right. I can't just put my phone in my pocket, can I?
No. Okay, there we go. That's much better.
I forget that my headphones don't have a speaker on it. I just have
okay.
I have these block-out studio headphones on.
Okay, that makes more sense. All right, so back to your week. Anything exciting?
I decided that it's always so exciting that nothing exciting happened.
It's like overload.
It's always exciting, so it has to be like super exciting.
Right, it's like ADD medication where it just overloads your system to the point where everything is just mellow, even keel.
Nope,
not like that at all?
Not like that at all. No.
Okay, fail. Well, I just got back a few hours ago from Louisville. I went, Carrie Ann took me down to, apparently before the Kentucky Derby, they do, I guess, I don't know how long ago, but because the Kentucky Derby became such a touristy attraction that the people of the area started doing an event on Friday, which then over time that became a touristy attraction. So now they do what's called Thurby, which is a event on the Thursday before the Kentucky Derby. So that's what we went to yesterday. And it was a good time, which, she doesn't watch Arrested Development, but it reminds me the fact that they have to keep putting it the day before of the, what celebration was that they decide they were going to do like a day before to just screw it up for everybody else? Was that Cinco de Mayo?
I just can't remember. It must have been.
Yeah, something like that.
There was definitely something with...
Which we are coming up,
actually. Was it Cuatro de Mayo?
Yes, that's exactly what it was. They do the Cuatro de Mayo to...
That means four in Spanish.
That is correct. Good job, Dave. But yeah, we're coming up on Cinco de Mayo here in a couple days. When we release this episode, it will be Seis de Mayo.
Yes.
So for all you Spanish-speaking listeners out there,
Toma 3 años de español en la escuela, pero no recuerdo mucho.
Okay, I didn't follow much or any of that. I got mucho.
I learned how to say fairly well. I took 3 years of Spanish in high school, but I don't remember much.
Gotcha. Very well done. Yes.
I say that as well as I can, and then they go, "Oh, no, you're very good." And I say, "No, that was it."
Yes, I remember, "Hay caído y yo no puedo levantarme," which is, "I've fallen and I can't get up." Oh, okay. you were gonna try and translate. I didn't give you enough time.
I also learned how to say "más despacio, por favor," because when I lived in Miami, if somebody heard that first thing I said and then decided, well, he can speak Spanish, so then they would start talking to me. I had to learn how to say more slowly, please.
I see. Which we're going to do an episode of Slow Clo Trivia Show later in the episode.
Oh, no. Okay.
So, yes, we'll need to figure out, you'll need to at some point figure out how to say Slow Clo Trivia Show in Spanish.
Okay, I'll work on that. But give me a couple of months.
Okay.
Or I think we should do a whole show in Spanish. Yeah.
All right.
Why not?
Well, that's going to take a while.
Yeah.
It's going to be you basically using your phrase about how you took 3 years of Spanish, followed by me responding, "Hay caído y yo no puedo levantarme." And we'll just do that back and forth.
Or we just say things like, the pencil is in the window in Spanish.
Yes, there you go.
All the stuff you learn in 3 years that doesn't ever do you any good.
Yes, agreed.
I have a blue car.
Right. Yes, I took a little Russian at OSU, and I remember very little, "Gdzie biblioteca," which is just where's the library, because we all know that, or "Gdzie toilet," where's the bathroom. That one is a very important one. But that's about all I remember.
¿Dónde está el baño? That was Spanish for where's the bathroom.
Okay. Well, I've forgotten what bathroom was. But yeah, Baño. Well, now I know, because you just told me. But yeah, real quick, I wanted to give it... Yes. I wanted to give a shout out, though, really quick while I was still talking about Thurby, to Bobby and Wendy Lindsay, who, for their hospitality, we stayed at their home.
They're great.
I want to say they're probably about 30 minutes outside of Louisville, but they gave us a wonderful room, which was essentially like a master. We had our own bathroom, closet, everything right there. She made a breakfast casserole yesterday, which we almost polished off this morning before we left. So great couple, great people.
I would have just eaten it.
Well, I treat my breakfast foods differently.
I hope they weren't insulted by that.
What are you doing with a buffing rag? I put the forks out. Yes. So, but no, it was interesting. We got to dress up.
Yeah.
Because of course, Derby is all about ladies with their hats.
Sombrero.
There was one guy there that we saw that Carrie Ann pointed out that was wearing like a nice button-up shirt, bow tie, sport coat, which all sounds pretty normal until you realize his lower half was essentially like boxer shorts and dress socks pulled up to his knees. So very unusual.
Yeah.
But, whatever works.
The closest I came to that was I went to Keeneland once in Lexington, a similar event. Very fun. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And once I went to the dog tracks in Wheeling, West Virginia. That was...
I've never seen a dog race before.
Yeah. Almost the same fun, except people don't dress up, and they're usually more desperate looking.
Okay. Well, yeah, we were lucky enough to be in an owner's suite since this was like the Thurby event. Obviously, a lot of the owners are probably waiting till today or tomorrow at the event. So we had our own bartender, food available to us. It was all included in the price. So yeah, it was a good little afternoon.
That's fun. That is very fun.
And we bet on every race like $5, just nothing major. And we had our own little betting machine right there in the suite, so we didn't have to go out to the counters or anything. And I'm looking through the program at what the experts are saying. Here's what we think is going to be 1 through 3. Here's what we think are the top 5 horses. And we make it to race, 9 or 10, and there's only a handful left before we're going to be leaving. And I had been, betting on the ones that had the bigger odds, but were the favorites at the same time. It wasn't worth it to me to put 2-to-1 odds on something and win $10 on a $5 bet. So finally, after losing, I told Carrie Ann, well, let's just try, betting the 2 numbers from the month and the day of when we had our first date, and we won.
And put down 100,000, right? You won?
No, we did. We bet. No, we did not put down 100,000. We did win. We only put down $5, but the horse we won on 35-to-1 odds.
Oh, nice.
So it was a nice little. It was $175 or something like that on a $5 bet. So not too shabby.
So by the end of the day, how much did you lose?
We actually ended up making money through the course of the day.
Wow.
Yeah, not a ton, but we walked out on the positive side.
That's hard to do.
Yeah. Well, we did it. And the numbers we selected, the horses, were not even in the top 5 of the expert picks. So the first time we decided we're not going to listen to these people, bam.
Right. Maybe they're betting on the other horses and want you to bet on those.
Yeah,
probably not. That would make it crooked and all, but it seems like there might be some incentive for some of those experts.
Right. Well, gambling and betting is all about having the advantage, so that could be a very plausible take on how the experts present it.
Yeah. So you used a date of, what was it again? You used
the month and the day of when we had our first date. So we just picked those 2 numbers of the horses.
2 30?
No, well, first off, there's never a 30th horse in the race. You're just thinking because we started seeing each other after the Buckeye Cruise, but our first date wasn't until March, so it was 3-6.
3-6.
Yes, and then oddly enough, the next race, we decided we were going to change it up and not use those numbers again, and we lost, and the horses that finished in first and second were 3 and 6, so we should have just stuck with it.
Wow. If you'd have just stuck with those two numbers all day, you might have
Raked it in.
made a couple $100.
Maybe, but oh well. But yeah, it was still a good time and nice to walk away with a little bit of
Yeah, that's fun.
cash in the pocket.
Yeah, plus, I mean, if I go to something like that, I just look at it as how much money would I spend for any other kind of entertainment. So if
Right.
I lose about that amount, I'm fine. If somehow I make more, then great.
Right. No, exactly.
But what happens is people get sucked in and they're like, wait, this next one,
Right, this is the one.
I'm going to make up for all that big loss.
Yeah. Yeah, our host, Bobby Lindsay, the guy who we stayed at his and his wife Wendy's house, that was poor English. But I want to say he bet like $400 on one race and one race only. And I'm pretty sure he lost. So that was just like one of those where I'm just going to go, he's pushing his chips all in. He probably knew which race he wanted to do it in. I was walking around trying to look like I knew what the heck I was doing. I had my program all rolled up and tucked in my back pocket. Yeah.
That was like you're saying, hey, what are people doing with their programs?
Right. I'm looking around and everybody's got a rolled up program in their back pocket. I'm like, I guess that's what I should be doing. And I bruised the inside of my left palm because during the race that we won, I started doing what I see them do on TV where you smack that rolled up program into your hand, like you're whipping the horse somehow. And then I noticed on the drive home today as my hand was aching on the steering wheel that I had bruised my palm. So
you were actually completely unemotional on the inside, but on the outside, it looked like you were so into it.
No.
That guy must be an expert.
Yeah, no, it was not a facade. That was the one where we were going to make some money, and we did. So, yes, it was worth the bruise. It'll go away. It shall heal.
Unless it doesn't.
Okay, well, then I need to go see somebody.
Yeah.
Speaking of medical stuff, you'll find out why later, but the Slow Clo Trivia Show is rooted in medical terminology.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
So you'll find out when we get there. But before we go down
I went to a chiropractor yesterday for the first time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just have enough pains from playing the guitar. My left shoulder always seems to kind of hurt a little bit. And, I heard an ad, and, it's one of those, your first visit's almost free, cheap,
right.
So
that's the thing with the chiropractor, though, is like I went once or twice when I had a back issue just to get it resolved. And once you get that first or second adjustment, boy, walking away from that and not doing it on a regular basis, that's why they offer it for free, because they realize once they get you in there, they're going to tweak and crank you so hard that you need to come back again.
Well, that is exactly what happened. There was some tweaking and cranking really hard. That was like, it kind of scared me, It was like almost like the eye doctor when they do that poof of air in your eye and you jump back every time and it's coming and it's not going to hurt, but every time you have to jump.
Oh, yeah.
And every time he would get me into some pretzel position and then kind of put all his weight on me, and I just felt like I was losing a wrestling match.
And what was even weirder that he had one of those, Mexican wrestling masks on while he was doing the procedure. So
actually,
that probably wasn't, the best bedside manner.
The fact that there was a referee, that's what threw me. Well, I don't want to tell them this, so I hope nobody from that office is listening, but I feel great,
Right. So that's great that you don't want them to hear that.
I don't want them to know, because then they'll be like, well, you really should sign up for the ultimate package.
Yes, the El Mucho Grande package.
I know that the big sales pitch is coming next time.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll keep you posted on how much they sucker me into.
Okay. I'm sure they're going to sucker you in for a lot, so they can continue to tweak and grind you hard.
I'm going to just...
Or was that... I'm not even sure that's the phrase I used earlier.
No, probably wouldn't use it like that.
No.
But I definitely, when I walked in, knowing how salesmen are and that this is kind of a sales pitch world of trying to get you to sign up for a lifetime membership,
Right.
I pretty much was like, I don't really have any problems. I just heard your ad and just kind of thought I would, just check it out and, get little aches and pains now and then, but nothing much.
Right. Well, I'm glad it worked.
But then, when they do the whole X-ray and everything, and they show you your spine, and they say, see how this one's facing forwards and it's supposed to be facing backwards.
Yeah.
No. Actually, I wasn't that messed up. They said,
do you
it looks
see
pretty
this
good, but
femur? It's
able
not
to.
supposed to be there. That femur should be somewhere else in your body.
Yeah.
We need to work that out.
No, it was pretty good, but they could actually show you the exact spinal, what are those called? Each little disc.
Yes. The vertebrae.
You can see how this one is turned a little funny, or this one's that, or whatever.
Gotcha.
So they build up some trust, and I'm like,
I don't think I got an X-ray on my visit, so you must have gone for some deluxe package.
Well, the whole deal was only $40, and I thought, okay, I'll do it.
They just laid me on my side and made me pull my knees up, and then.
Oh, dude, that's not a chiropractor.
Well, so
I don't know what you went for.
I thought it was odd that the name of the chiropractor ended in correctional facility, but All right, no, but
you went as safe as you could with that. Thank you.
Yeah, of course, that was the best I could do. Yes, speaking of being safe, I do want to mention that, Dave, we had a discussion earlier in the week where we want to let our listeners know that, when we started this, we really kind of had every intention of, you want to kind of cater your podcast discussions and things like that in a way that is appealing to as many people out there and as broad an audience as possible. And so we were very delicate to not be overly opinionated with things or take hardline stances on anything. However, as time goes by, we can't just continue to tell stories about our childhood forever.
But you're still a child.
And we are people with opinions. We are people with stances and thoughts. We're not going to be over the top in that regard. This isn't going to just become, the next show about politics or anything like that. However, we are coming up into a presidential election race. And as we know from the 2016 race, it was a bit of a media circus. So it would be very difficult for us to get through this next year without ever discussing things that might be slightly uncomfortable, not even uncomfortable, just controversial to some people to hear. So we'll do our best to keep it even keel. But moving forward, we are going to insert a little bit more of our own personalities and opinions into the show.
The gloves are off.
That's right. And kind of the way I described it to you, Dave, is it's almost like, I have a bad habit of watching all these Gordon Ramsay cooking shows. And
yes, you do.
He'll go in and see a restaurant that's got, a spaghetti and meatballs next to General Tso's chicken. And it's like, you need to figure out what your niche is. And if people don't like Italian and you have an Italian restaurant, that's fine. But the people that love Italian are going to keep coming back to you as long as you do it well.
I like Italian.
So while we understand... All right. And how about General Tso's?
Not so much.
Okay, not a Chinese guy?
Yeah. When I think of Chinese, I think of the cheaper, fast food Chinese. I'm not a fan of that. I do like a good,
Buffet? Or just a sit-down restaurant?
Well, I guess it's Japanese where they cook it on the table.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But I don't know.
The Ichibans and things like that.
Something that's a little higher end. It's not all just fried cat.
El Gato.
The El Gato Supreme.
Yes.
Yeah, that's Spanish, though.
Jumping back to Spanish and El Gato, I remember in my Spanish class in high school, my Spanish teacher used to use El Gato to teach us prepositions, because a preposition is anywhere a cat can go. So on, under, above, beside, yada, yada, yada. And he had this house cutout that he would put magnet up onto the board, and then he would magnet the cat into different spots above, below, on top, and then we would have to say the Spanish preposition. So being the artist and the class clown that I was, I one night drew a semi-truck that was a Kibbles and Bits truck with a bumper sticker on the back that said, I hate El Gatos. And there was like a splatter mark on the front, which I cut perfectly around this truck. I still have it in like a bin down in my basement. And then I came in, and before he came into class, I took the house down. I put the truck up, overlapped the splatter over El Gato, and he walked in. This is just kind of how my high school career went. And he looked at the board.
I just want to make sure you're not keeping a cat in the bin in your basement, right?
No. I don't have El Gato. It is the cutout of the truck.
Okay, all right.
But yeah, so he walks in, he sees this on the board, and just without even looking out into the classroom as he's walking to his desk, he said, Schaefer, see me after class. So, like, it wasn't even a question.
That's usually good news, right?
Yeah, that's always good news. But he didn't even need to question who had done this to El Gato. But I guess at least he was nice enough to let me keep my Kibbles and Bits truck because I do still have that. Not a cat in the basement, just the cutout of a truck.
In a bin, yeah.
In a bin, yes. But yes, back to what I was saying as far as taking a little bit more of a stance on things. I want to point out I am not a fan of political correctness, Dave.
No.
That is not me. I don't know. How do you have a stance on PC, the world that we live in, which is just overly sensitive, in my opinion?
Yeah, I think we stand together, united, standing against everyone else for believing what they believe.
I'm going to have to unwrap that in my. I'm sitting here trying to unscramble that sentence.
No, I know. I was trying to be deep, but basically, yes, I'm not a big fan of the correctness, the political correctness.
Right, and I think social media has had a huge impact on that. Because now everyone is so interconnected and people are able to express how offended they are so quickly. And boy, that bothers me. And like people that people on Facebook that I see that are either posting like a hardline, like say Republican or Democratic point of view, they're not going to sell anybody on the other side. That's the problem with the world we live in, is it's so opposed now. There's no gray area. Like people just hate the other side of the aisle. There's no, I don't want to hear what you have to say. I don't want to consider your opinion or your viewpoint.
Well, there's about 10 to 15% in the middle that kind of seem to actually have all the power. So they can kind of just swing back and forth on how things are going or how they feel.
Right.
So everyone else just seems to be entrenched.
Right. And, I will say this, though, like the phrase is like typically like liberal is typically associated with the Democratic Party and conservatives are the Republicans. But to me, it feels like the word liberal no longer applies because I feel like it is the people who consider themselves liberal that are the ones who are pushing so hard for political correctness.
And your idea of political correctness is more of a less freedom kind of. You're not allowed to say this. You can't do this.
Right.
We have to put restraints on people's speech.
Right.
And
I'm not short. I'm vertically challenged. Things like that.
What are you? You're not bald. You're
follically challenged.
Shameless plug challenged.
Yes. No, I'm not challenged with shameless plugs anymore. I can get them at my local CVS. Not.
No, you're challenged if you haven't used our shameless plugs yet.
Oh, that is true. That is true. I thought you were talking to me directly.
Well, you haven't yet because we haven't invented them yet.
Well, we've got the commercial, so is that false advertising?
We're close.
We're going to have lawsuits coming our way?
We're almost there. I think the disclaimer at the end kind of keeps us from getting sued.
Yeah. So another thing I noticed that, again, just really quick while we're kind of having this discussion on things we don't like from a political perspective, and this is just opening the landscape for discussions we are going to have in the future with, the presidential race coming up. But I saw an article about how people in the government, and I think there's people on both sides of the aisle, so I don't want to say this is just one side or the other, but there's certain people that are pushing really hard to just forgive a bunch of student loan debt. And I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Yeah.
Because people made a decision and these schools charged what they charged. You knew that going in. I'm not saying I totally agree with the education, higher education system and how a lot of people are coming out and unable to get a job. But then go ahead and please forgive my credit card debt because I made a poor decision on a lot of the purchases that I made, but nobody's talking about that.
Yeah. I wasn't smart when I bought a house, so government needs to do something about that, please?
Yes, please, absolve my mortgage.
That wasn't actually me, that was,
right,
me
you were, generally speaking.
Representing the guy who buys a house that he couldn't actually afford.
Right, but it's just like this society of free free college, free, I hate to say it, healthcare, all that stuff. It's not free. Someone is paying for that. Yes. So that's where I have a hard time because
for some reason the freer it gets, the more expensive it seems to be.
Yeah, it's got to come from somewhere.
You know when I fell in my office in October in Memphis, and I fell on the tuning keys of the guitar. It was just like a freak accident, but I bruised my ribs, and I didn't know if they were cracked or not. Did we ever talk about that on the show?
No.
Oh. Did you know about that?
No, I did not know that you just randomly fell in your office on top of a guitar.
Yeah, it was a weird moment. I was teaching a lesson, and I ended up teaching a lesson about not falling in your office. But I was teaching a guitar lesson, and I saw somebody walk by that I was trying to get a hold of or looking for all morning. I was like, hang on a second. I jumped up from my seat. I was holding a guitar in my hands around the neck, and I tripped over my student's guitar case. And like 2 or 3 steps, I'm stumbling towards the door, and then I smack into the door. While holding the guitar, at that point, the guitar had kind of turned sideways, and those tuning keys, one side of the guitar tuning keys were up against the door, and the other side were up against my ribs as I smacked into them, and I fell to the ground. I couldn't breathe, and just laid there for a minute.
What did the student do?
The student just stood there, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. She was really kind of like somewhere in between. And I hear the guy that I was looking for, that I yelled his name right before I tumbled, and he said, I kind of noticed him look in the window, and he says, "Who killed Dave Clo?" And that was his response.
Oh, there you go.
But
you see, if you would have used the mentality that you had a little over a week ago, that wouldn't have happened. When you went to the lesson and completely forgot to take a guitar. Yeah. So you would have saved yourself.
Right. Darn. So
yeah.
So anyway, one of the students there had also previously worked as an EMT. He was an older student that was going back to college, and after I was just still in pain for hours and hours, finally he said, let's take you to this hospital. I know that you'll probably get in quickly, so it was like a 25-minute drive. And so I paid $100 like copay, and I have insurance, and so I thought, that was the end of it. And I guess I've missed some letters or something, but or now it's just finally cleared up with my insurance. But I get a phone call saying you still owe $430, and so geez. I was in the hospital for like 30 minutes. Granted, they did some X-rays, and just yesterday I got X-rays for $40, okay, of my spinal column.
Right.
But anyway, they did some X-rays, and then they said, yeah, they're just bruised. Here's a couple of pills. Here's a prescription for something else. I don't remember what it was. But anyway, they want $430 more. I get this call just a couple of days ago, and I'm like, really? Well, didn't my insurance pay anything? And this lady looks it up and says, yes, the original bill was $3,000.
Yeah.
And you paid $100, and they paid everything but this last $430. And I'm like, I was there for 30 minutes. What's that? $100 a minute? Or I mean, most of it, I was sitting by myself waiting,
right,
for a doctor to walk in and go, yeah, just bruised. You're fine.
Right.
$3,000
And we want to let you know that your second and third rib are slightly out of tune.
What does that mean?
Well, it's because you drove them into a tuning key.
Oh,
so.
yeah. Right.
Yeah, that was
right
a
over
stretch, your head.
But like I just couldn't believe you guys charged for. And she said the fact that you walked in the emergency room was $1,000 right there.
Wow.
And then the couple of pills they gave me were like $60 each, and then the rest was because some doctor had to look at some X-rays, and that's a couple thousand right there.
Well, if you walked into my house and said, I want to lift up my shirt and show you my abdomen, I would probably say that's going to be $4,000, Dave. But
so you're even more. You're $1,000 more than the hospital.
Correct.
Wow. Okay. What if I don't ask?
I'm an expert.
What if I don't ask? I just raise my shirt.
You're billing you.
Okay.
You're going to get a repossession letter where I want the ribs back.
Okay. Will the insurance help pay for some of that? Is my question.
No, not at my house.
So back to your point.
Yes.
It seems like the more, I don't know, the government gets involved in things, the more the price goes up for the rest of us.
Right. Well, and it's going to impact, think about, when we were growing up, it was like a dream of so many people and, parents for their kids to be a doctor, or I want my kid to be a doctor. Being a doctor was this lucrative, luxurious almost, it just had this air of esteem to it.
Right.
And, that's the other thing I'm concerned with is, are we going to start seeing those people wanting to enter the medical profession start to dwindle if they feel like I might as well just be working in a warehouse on a forklift?
Because?
Well, just because they're not going to be able to make as much money because everything's going to be regulated.
Well, I don't know if they're making less money. They sure are charging enough.
Well, yeah, that's true.
I don't know where the money goes. Where does this $4,000 or $3,000, $4,000 if I go to your house, but where does the $3,000 go to this hospital?
It was for the waiting room. It was a very expensive seat that you waited in.
Yeah, and most of them were empty, so I was probably paying for all of those.
That's right. That's right. It's speaking of hospital visits, I saw this. I don't know if you heard about this. Kelly Clarkson, she hosted the Billboard Music Awards recently. Apparently, for 3 hours, she hosted the show, performed 2 songs, and the whole time was fighting the pains of appendicitis.
Ow.
And immediately left after the Billboard Music Awards to go get her appendectomy and have it removed. So that's a trooper right there.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible. I've had 3 appendectomies, and
they just keep growing back.
They're very painful.
Have you ever played or performed or anything when you were super sick or hurt or anything like that?
Well, yes. As a matter of fact, I played once in Columbus at the zoo for Zoofari, and I was so sick, and I was playing with Chris Logsdon.
Okay.
And so I would come out and play a few songs with him, sing along, and he just knew that if I put the guitar down and walked away, I needed to go to the back of the stage and throw up.
Right.
So I was just back and forth, walking past Jack, what's his last name? Jack Hanna. Hey, Jack, how you doing? Go to the back. It was awful.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah.
You ever had I know one of the things guitar players are panicked about is, anything to the fingers, whether it be a slight cut, a blister. You ever had to face anything like that?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Muscle
sometimes,
through?
Yeah, it's a weird thing to know what happens to your body when you just have to keep going.
Right.
And that somehow you just find that energy to keep going, or the pain goes away.
Mm-hmm. Right. The adrenaline kind of kicks in.
Yeah. And I think, when I fell in my office and I had to end up going to the hospital.
Hold on. I caído y yo no puedo levantarme.
What was that
I've fallen
again?
and I can't get up.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So the thought that just kept going through my mind for the rest of the day as I could barely talk is that I was just walking across my office, which is not a very big office, from one end to the other, and I ended up in a hospital. I suddenly had so much more admiration for all the football players I know,
Right.
and what they go through.
Oh, yeah.
All the hitting and stuff. I was just walking. The one thing though that I think would make football much more dangerous and manly, I guess, is if they all had to carry a guitar with them.
Yes, those tuning pegs are dangerous.
They're bad, man.
Yeah. Okay. I
Yeah.
thought you were going to say maybe do it without pads or something, but you just added the guitar.
Well, just the guitar. I mean,
Okay.
I guess
Fair
they
enough.
need to not have pads too.
Right.
If I had, maybe I should wear pads during the lesson. That's what should happen.
That would be awesome. We will need pictures of that for social media.
I have to go out and buy pads. I don't know.
That's okay. Yeah.
Hey,
one
by
time.
the way,
No, go ahead.
But I wanted to say, by the way, we have one other new aspect of our show today.
Yeah.
We are not looking at each other anymore.
That's right. We are back to audio only.
We decided that our phone calls are so much more, I don't know, we're undistracted when we're
Right.
not looking over at each other to see what weird face Jeff's making.
Or vice versa. You're the one always trying to get me to laugh, but it was something we tried to do in order to better anticipate, when the other was going to speak, so we don't step on each other as much,
And
figuratively speaking.
it made us worse anticipate.
Yes, we were just worse anticipate.
Well, you said better anticipate, so
Oh, okay, all right.
I went the opposite.
Okay, I'm not sure that that's grammatically correct, but I'll let it fly. But yeah, I was going to say that I had a show that I played with a band I was in, Collingwood Nights, and I was just feeling feverish. Now, luckily, this was like in a all-original band, and so we were only performing for like 1 hour. But I was just like feeling like I had a flu bug or something, but I've never, canceled a show for illness or anything like that, so I just muscled my way through it, and the next day, the fever was getting worse. So I finally went to the hospital and found out that I had pneumonia. So I have performed a show with pneumonia.
Yeah. I'm sure I've done that somewhere. The worst, though, I just thought of was I did a USO tour, actually a Department of Defense, DOD tour, and played on military bases. And when we first we went to Turkey. And at one point, there's a group of like 7 of us, some band members and singer-dancers. And at one point, we all got the Turkish trots, they call them.
Oh,
And
the Turkish trots.
yes. And
I think that was a name of one of the horses yesterday that I bet on.
Really?
Turkish trots. No.
Yeah. That pretty much means that you are out of it.
I think everyone.
It's coming
I
out
don't
of
know
both
that we need to
ends.
describe that too much.
Yeah, right.
I'm pretty sure most people have an idea what that means.
Yeah.
It's like the Turkey version of Montezuma's Revenge.
Yes, exactly. And I'm sure we're
Exactly.
being quite politically incorrect right now.
Oh, well, that's okay. As we established earlier, we don't care. If you don't like it, don't listen.
Yeah, we stopped caring.
So you mentioned jokingly that you had your appendix removed 3 times. Do you actually have your appendix?
I have all 3 of them.
Okay, good. And do you have your tonsils?
I do, actually.
Wow. So that's both. Have you ever had like
All 3?
Okay, great. Have you ever had like a major surgery?
I have not.
Okay, neither have I.
Stop and think about it and make sure.
I had a couple oral surgeries as a kid, but that was more orthodontic work. But yeah, other than that, I've never spent a night in the hospital. Knock on wood.
Well, I did once.
Yes, but that wasn't for surgery.
No.
Okay,
that was for fun.
Just for fun, just to rack up as many bills as possible.
I thought it was like frequent flyer miles. I thought, I'll just stay in here as long as I can, and then
Hospital rewards.
exactly right.
Yeah. So, yeah. Okay, well, before we wrap up, and while we're on the subject of surgeries, and this has been a very medically charged show, oddly enough. But
which I'm sure you had in your notes, right?
No, not really. I mean, I had a slight medical topic, which was the Kelly Clarkson, and then based on figuring that might be the last thing we discussed, I went ahead and built the Slow Clo Trivia Show around some medical terminology. So before we get started, I'm going to have you go ahead and let's do the theme song.
It's the Slow Clo Trivia Show. It's the Slow Clo Trivia Show. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba.
All right, so yes.
And there it was.
Right, so ectomies. An ectomy, do you know what an ectomy is, Dave?
Well, if it was up to me.
Ectomy. It is the removal of something. So like an appendectomy.
Right, yes.
So I have 9 different ectomies. Okay, once again, always going with the odd number to make sure there's no tie. And I'm going to tell you the name of the ectomy, and I want you to tell me what body part or organ that is the removal of.
Okay. How many do we have again?
We have 9. You have to get 5 correct in order to win.
Okay.
And I'm hoping we've done 3 Slow Clo Trivia shows, and you've succeeded at 2 of them. So I'm hoping this is going to at least bring us back to an even keel of 2 and 2. And
I'm hoping for 3 and 1.
I know you are. But this one's not going to be as easy. So here we go. Number 1.
Get your bets in now.
Get your bets in now.
What is it they say when the betting is closed?
That the betting is closed.
Oh, is that what they say?
No, I don't know.
You were just at a horse track. Don't they say something?
It's funny that you say that because one of the things I was considering doing for the Slow Clo Trivia Show was horse racing technology, vernacular terminology, and then I would have known what this phrase that we're grasping for should be, but since I did not go down that path, I do not know.
Okay, so you study up before you ask me questions and try to make me look dumb.
Yes,
I get it.
That's the idea. All right, here we go. Number 1, cephalolectomy. Cephalolectomy, and that begins with a C. It's a soft C. That is the removal of what?
Your cethal.
No.
No, that was a joke. That was a joke. Hold on.
Okay.
I'm going to say the removal of your earlobe.
No, it is the removal of your head.
Really?
Yeah, doesn't that seem like a really weird procedure?
I almost had that done once. Kind of glad I didn't.
Now, some of these, like, you should be able to guess based on the first aspect before ectomy. Right. Some of these you won't. So the next one, number 2, is arthrectomy. Arthrectomy.
That's when you get your arthritis removed.
Close.
That was the joke. Hold on.
But that's close. But what would you be getting removed? Specifically.
Calcium deposits.
No, it is the joint. Having a joint removed.
Oh.
So it's similar to a reggae band getting pulled over by the police.
Yeah.
That would also be an arthrectomy where they get all their joints removed.
Okay.
Okay, number 3, a glossectomy. Glossectomy. Glossectomy.
When you have your lips removed because of the gloss. No,
that's close.
Glossectomy. The enamel on your teeth that has to be removed.
Nope, it is part or all of your tongue.
Wow.
Yeah, that's not a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, so this next one...
I don't know anybody that would have known any of these because I don't hang out with medical people, but...
Well, you were so close on arthrectomy. You said arthritis, and I'm like, okay, what part of the body is affected by arthritis? The joints. You just unfortunately went straight for calcium deposit.
I don't know.
But again, you were close. It's just no cigar or no joint. Okay, so this one, again, you might be able to get based on the beginning. Ostectomy. O-S-T-E. Ostectomy.
Man, I've heard of this one. Osteoporosis.
Think about the beginning.
Osteoporosis is
What does that affect?
that affects your bones.
Yeah.
So
ding,
having
ding,
a
ding.
bone removed.
Correct, Dave. There we go. You got one right. So you're not going to feel like in complete failure. Okay, here we go. Number 5, a sympathectomy. Sympathectomy.
You had your sympathy removed.
I knew that's what you were going to say. I wonder why.
Let's see. It sounds like it. Was it a bittersweet sympathectomy?
I didn't say symphoneectomy. Sympathectomy.
Sympathectomy. Is that like having your tear ducts removed?
No, but nice try. It is this is not necessarily a removal, but it is the cutting and severing of your nerves.
Oh, because I get it. Senses. Okay.
Yes.
I don't know.
Okay, here we go. Number 6. So this is working perfectly for me because you are doing horrible, and that's what I want.
Yeah.
We want to illustrate that Clo is
There's
slow.
a lot of things you could. And then how many of these did you know before you looked them up?
None of them.
Okay.
You've got one, and I'm pretty sure you're going to get at least one more. So we've got 4 left. So this one, number 6, is nephrectomy. Nephr, nephrectomy.
That's making me think of like nympho. To have
Nothing along those lines.
a sleazy person removed from your life. I don't know.
No, it is your
no.
kidney.
Oh,
your kidney.
Oh,
You were never going to get
You
that.
have to let me have the joke first. Well, I have a.
You already had 2 jokes.
I have a joke for each one. Kidney.
Yes, correct. Ding, ding, ding. It is only slightly after the fact. All right. Number 7 is a myectomy. Myectomy. This is not a removal of yourself.
I know. That's where I was going, but let's see.
I figured.
Hey, that's myectomy. My. Is that
You'll never get this one.
toenails removed?
No, it is a muscle.
Any muscle.
Yep. Is a myectomy. Okay, the next 2, if you really think about them, you should be able to get. You're not going to win.
You should
but
maybe sprinkle these in the middle to keep it interesting.
No, see, I want you to go out on a high note.
But I had my joints removed.
I wanted, because I knew some of these were going to be so tough, I wanted you to, while being a complete loser and abject failure, I wanted you to at least walk away with some sense of dignity. That's what friends are for.
Oh.
Okay. Oh, yeah, there you go, Dionne Warwick.
I was doing Elton John.
Oh, okay. So hard to know, just based off the whistling.
The whistling, yeah.
Right. Okay, here we go.
Actually,
The
wasn't
second
that Stevie Wonder doing a harmonica?
Yes, it was. And I'm pretty sure that was Stevie Wonder singing as well, right?
Why
That was
isn't this? Why isn't they all sang it? What do you think? Elton John was like playing the
Oh, that's right.
wood blocks.
I forgot this was back in the We Are the World days where they tried to make like all the hit songs with 40 pop artists.
Yeah.
That's what friends are for.
Or was Elton even involved? I don't know.
Yeah, Elton was involved because he went, for good times,
Yeah.
and for bad times. Yeah, that was the Elton part.
That's right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. My question to you is, why aren't these the kind of questions on the Slow Clo Trivia Show?
Well, we started with song lyrics, so I really needed to throw you a curve at you this time, just to, because otherwise, as I pointed out in the last Slow Clo Trivia Show, if you are succeeding, then the bit does not work.
If I'm succeeding, you're failing.
Correct.
All right.
And you're not coming off as slow.
Well, you're
All right, here we
doing
go.
great this time.
Thank you. All right, number 8, auriculectomy. AURICUL. Auriculectomy. Auriculectomy.
To have your part of your ear removed.
Your ear, correct. To have your ear removed. Well, ding, ding, ding. There you go. See, I told you.
See?
You might be able to get these last 2. So the last one, a rhinectomy. RHIN, rhinectomy.
To have your friend who just pretends to be conservative removed.
What?
The rhinectomy.
Rhinectomy.
They call fake conservatives rhinos.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
All right, that was not real. Let's see. Rhinectomy.
But you're so close with what you're talking about.
Really?
Yes.
To have your...
There's another procedure that begins with rhino that has to do with the...
rhinoplasty. Uh-huh. You're right. What is that? Is that having your lips removed or something? I can't remember what rhinoplasty is.
You're stuck on having lips removed.
Well...
I don't know what justification you're going to put behind that. All right, last chance. Do you want to? It's not lips. I'm going to give you one more guess.
Having your face removed. I don't know.
No, it's your nose.
Nose.
Rhinoplasty is a nose job.
Yes, you're right.
Which I always thought was the worst name for a nose job because rhinos have quite pronounced nasal features.
You're right. And for some reason, I was thinking that was having your lips enlarged. When you have the...
I gotcha. So like the Botox?
Yeah, like the Botox or collagen in the lips.
Correct. So you got...
And I can't think of a reason anyone would ever have their lips removed. Unless it was by a monkey.
Well, yeah, then that's when you lose the whole face.
Yeah. Isn't that weird that monkeys, like, when they get a little older, they really want to rip your lips off. If you've ever watched those people that raise monkeys from little, and when they lose their minds, they go after your lips. Those shows are freaky.
We're gonna have to use a sample of that just to start off a future episode before the theme song of Dave going, "Isn't it strange how when monkeys get older, they just want to rip your lips off?" That was not a phrase I expected to hear on this episode of the podcast.
It's probably because they look at they don't really have lips, and they look at us and they go, "You look similar, but what are these big things? They just don't need to be here."
I'm pretty sure monkeys have lips. I would be thinking that they'd be more into breaking our opposable thumbs.
Yeah.
Yeah, just from a jealousy perspective.
Yeah.
All right, well, you got 2 correct, so...
I feel pretty good about that.
Major fail. Well, you know what? I really went out of my way to throw you for a loop, so the fact that you got 2, I'm somewhat proud of you.
I'm thinking about going back to med school now.
There you go.
I'm so encouraged.
Well, there's still money in it. Yeah. All right. Well, we're again pushing a long episode, so we'll wrap this up. I do want to remind everybody that you can check out the podcast every Monday, as you are hopefully doing right now, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud. You can go to the Jef Clo website at jefandclo.com. You can purchase a Jef Clo hat. Next
T-shirt?
week...
Do we have the T-shirts yet?
T-shirts will be coming up very soon. We just need to finalize the design, but we're very close.
Okay.
But here soon, next week, I'm putting a plan together before we record the next podcast. I'll have an email address set up, and we'll let everyone know what that is so that you can email and request, and we will mail you at no cost to you. Probably like 30 to 50 of our promotional business cards. And then we'll ask all of you to hand them out to your friends and family, try and get people to listen, grassroots, be like Dave and I, and put them in very strange places. I actually just set one above a urinal at John Glenn Airport in Columbus when I was picking Carrie Ann up after a work trip last week. So there's all kinds of interesting places. As I was doing that, of course, I'm thinking, if this was me, do I want to touch anything that's above a urinal?
All they have to do is see it.
Right, that's all that matters. Yes.
So if they don't touch it, it stays there longer.
There you go. That's a good point. So it's like a permanent billboard. So that actually is a good idea. Good planning.
Yeah.
And as always, we're going to wrap up the podcast with a song off of the Jef Clo album, Another Stupid Joke, which you can also find on iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, Pandora, YouTube, and all the different streaming services. Dave, do you want to pick a song this week? Or I know we feel like we're running thin on song choices. We did Truth Be Told last week, which my mom told me, by the way, is her favorite song.
Really?
Yes. So do you have a song choice you'd like to do?
What do we got left? We got that one, we got that other one, and then we got that third one.
Correct. No, we've done 7 so far, so...
We have
5 left. We have
left.
Amabilia, of course, which is the more...
all instrumental.
Compositional, yes. There's 1 Minute is still out there.
Oh, yeah.
You want to do 1 minute?
Sure.
Since that's the only one we can remember.
Yeah, right. I also want to say that I've been, we get to see that, like, just cities' names of where people are watching or listening, I should say, to our podcast. And we've had a lot of interesting growth, I feel like. Getting some growth in the Detroit area.
Nice.
In Florida and just different places that I wasn't expecting. I think South Carolina maybe even.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, my mom is in South Carolina, so that might explain that.
That's the one. That's the one listen from her.
Yeah, I just poured water on the fire of your hope.
But no, there's New York. There's a bunch in New York now.
Yeah.
So it's growing.
It is growing. Like we said on the jingle.
Be a part of the movement.
Yes, but in the jingle last week, it was, in something like we're like a fungus because on you we like to grow. So that is exactly what we're trying to do, is grow on you like a fungus.
Beautiful.
And then you can go have a Jef Cloectomy and have that fungus removed if you no longer care for it.
Yeah, I like that imagery.
There you go.
Esta uno minuto.
Okay, this is 1 minute.
See.
All right, Dave. Well, we will wrap this up. And what is it? Te amor? Is that right?
It's close enough. Just say
Te amor,
whatever you want.
Dave.
Ito, Jeffy. My name is Jeff.
All right, we'll talk to you next week, man.
All right. See you, buddy.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Adios.
I'm a sinner, I'm a saint, with the need to permeate. I'm a hunter, I'm a man, I will catch you if I can. These my deeds, drunk like a sailor, feed my needs and I'll go. I'm a beggar, I'm a king, I'm the baby in the swing. I'm a monster, I'm a man, I will eat you if I can. These my deeds, darker than midnight, feed my needs and I'll go. One minute alone, I need 1 minute alone. Give me 1 minute. 1 minute alone, give me. I'm a monster, I'm a man. I will eat you if I can. Brain fart.